let's get straight into it. Hello! Another video for Deadzone Escalation, and this time we are talking about the Rebs. Now, the Rebs include many different alien races, such as the Sorak, the Yindij, the Teratons, and what one of their primary goals is to basically get rid of the GCPS and the Council of Seven, because essentially corporations are making the place worse, and the Rebs really don't want to see it get any worse than it already is. I'm fairly sure that sounds like something else from some year something 84. Anyway, so there might be other reasons for the Rebs to work together. There might be pirates, there might be fighting against the Forge Fathers, because the Forge Fathers sell the GCPS and the Enforcers, in fairness, weapons. Might be against the Marauders, because the GCPS do hire out the Marauders to take on various jobs, mainly against the Plague. They may be against mercenaries, because, well, mercenaries just work for anyone. Or might be against each other, because not all Rebs are friendly to each other. That's just the nature of what they are. Different rebel splinter cells or factions will have different ideologies, thoughts and whatnot on how to get things done. So, starting with the leaders on page 102. Starting with Shiro Silverback. He is a living legend. You cannot give him any items. He is what he is. That's that. You can only take one of them, but as you can only have one leader in your force. So, 38 points, 4 victory points. He ain't cheap. Move of 2, dash 3. He's pretty fast. Armour 1, size 3. He's pretty big. No shoot value, but 5 to 4, survivor 5. Tactician 1, agile, tough, frenzy 1 and rampage. Spike knuckles, range F, AP 2, knockback. Recon 5+, and the splat is pounce attack. Use an army special result on a command dice to allow the active model to leave an occupied cube without needing to make a survive roll to break away. In addition, if the active model is an Alpha Simian, or the only one of that is Alpha Simian Brawler, so all Alpha Simians I suppose it really should say, it may ignore enemy models in the cube it would move or sprint through as it leaps over their heads. Basically what that means is they get to move away from someone who they're fighting, and there's going to be no downside. That's really good, especially if you're playing against the Nameless, where a lot of models have Tenacious. The other thing for the Alpha Simian, however, that just means you can just move to where you want, and if you're playing an objective heavy game, this can be really useful. If you are playing against a close combat force, this could be useful as well, because you can, if they're in your way, you can move through them and potentially get a shot off and get the extra 2 dice to getting a clear shot off at them. Won't be that useful to a lot of the units in this faction, but for some, such as some leaders, snipers, Grogans and the like, it can be pretty useful. It can also be useful in the fact you use this to move out, and then you can move back in to fight. Fight. It says you to leave the occupied cube without needing to make a survive roll to break away. It doesn't say move, so you could say it doesn't counter you moving, so you could I mean, does this count as an action? I'd possibly say it does, because it doesn't say it's free. So maybe use your other move dice to move back in, unless you've already taken damage, where you might think might not be a good idea. I think he should have been 40 points and have Tactician 2, because he's kind of like a high ranking person, to be honest. The main downside of him is the rampage, but he is size 3, he's got arm 1 and he's got tough, which will help. The fact he's got agile as well will mean if someone's high up and you want Sheo to clobber them, they're going to do that really, really well. So moving on to the Rebel Commander. 28 points, 3 victory points. Move of 1-2, no armour, size 1. Shooter 3, fighter 5, survivor 5, tactician 2, long rifle, range 8. Weapon options: leader, small arms light, bracket sniper, melee automatic, recon 4+, and the splat is always short. You can spend an army special result on your command dice to place a new random item face down in an unoccupied cube that's adjacent to the active model. This does not count as an action. This is why I'd say that the pounce attack does count as an action, because always short says it does not count as an action. Always short isn't bad, it's very situational. There's always the risk of you putting the booby trap down. There's also it's useful if you're playing the mission where you have to take items back to your deployment zone. That is going to be really useful, and with Tactician 2 that's going to be amazingly useful. In that instance you want to potentially be going first, because you want to get to the items as quickly as possible and just hoard them. But saying that, the Rebel Commander isn't bad. Stat wise, it's got no armour, which is a problem, and you survive on 5s, which is average, and 28.3 victory points means it ain't that cheap. However, you are shooting on 3s and you've got a really good choice of items. I mean, taking the sniper rifle, shooting on 3s, that's not bad, but you've already got a long rifle, which is range 8, same range as sniper rifle, so you might as well get a hollow sight. Yes, it's only an extra 1 dice rather than an extra 2, but at least you're getting the extra dice. And I mean, how many points is a hollow sight? It is 8 points, and a sniper rifle is 12 points. So you're either going to make it 40 points or 36 points. I mean, those extra 4 points, that can be quite necessary if you want to save them. But the Rebel Commander's not bad. It's not bad. Yindage Infiltrator Commander then. 20 points, 2 victory points. Mover 1-2, armor 0, size 1. Shooter 5, fighter 4, survivor 5. Tactician 1, agile and scout. Has a rifle, range 6, rapid fire. Weapon options: leader, small arms light, bracket sniper, melee automatic, recon 5+. Her splat is hide in shadows. Spend an army special result on a command dice at the end of a model's activation. The active model slinks into hiding. For the rest of the round, the model cannot be targeted by shoot actions and cannot have line of sight drawn to it. The model is still affected by abilities that target every model in the cube, such as frag, indirect, it burns or blast, and can still be the target of fight actions. This is really interesting. Stat wise, it's fairly average. Fighting on 4s is pretty good though. I would give it close combat weapon. You've either got the frenzied 1 or the AP 1. They're both the same points cost. So do you want an AP 1 weapon, or do you want a weapon that gives you a reroll? Choice is yours. Got scout and agile, which helps. I don't see why the Yindage Infiltrator Commander is only move 1-2 when the the Edic Premier, which is a Living Legend specialist, is moved to 3, and that's clearly a Yindage. It doesn't make sense that Yindage are only moved 1, 2. They really should be faster. That being said, though, they can take the same. The Yindage Rebel Commander can take the same gear as the Rebel Commander. I would possibly give it a sniper rifle and close combat weapon, or a long rifle and a close combat weapon, maybe. Reason being, you're fighting on 4s, so at least you can potentially fight something really well. And taking a long rifle, you've got the range. Maybe not go for a sniper rifle, because shooting on 5s, then again you've got 5 dice, so the hiding shadows is really good and really funny. You could use it on the Strider, so it's just basically like the Strider saying, "You can't see me. No, you can't." I just like imagine the Strider putting the weapon on its back and putting its arms up, just putting its hands over the cockpit sort of thing. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad, is all I can say, unfortunately. Last one is Rebel Cell Leader. 20 points, 2 victory points. Move 1-2, arm 0, size 1. Shooter 4, fighter 5, survivor 5, tactician 1. Has a rifle, range 6, rapid fire. Weapon options: leader, small arms light, brackets all. This includes the ones I've said before, and also includes grenade launchers and flamethrowers. Recon 5 Plus. It's got an ability of its own called Jack of all trades. Sorry, species diversity. Jack of all trades is a splat. Species diversity. When recruited, a rebel cell leader. When recruited means when you use one as your leader. A rebel cell leader must choose one of these options. It can be human, gains logistics. That's not bad if you've got items around. Rin, gain arm 1. It's alright, I suppose. Sphere, change fight to 6, gain matter magma lance, range 5, AP 2. Got a good shoot weapon. Well, with AP. Or Craw, change shoot to 5, fight to 4, and survive to 6, gain glide and scout. I would either go for I'd go for either Rin or Sphere for that. Craw with the glide and scout isn't bad. Fighting on 4s, that's not bad. Problem is you're surviving on 6s, and yeah, I can see that being a problem. With the Sphere, you're one less range on your weapon, and you don't get a chance to suppress, but you've got AP2, so but you're fighting on 6s, so if you get into close combat, you might as well just let them kill you. The Rin being armor 1, at least you've got armor, and you've got choice for weapons. I don't know why the Rin Rebel Cell Leader can't have a hard point and extra shooting weapons or something like that. But you know, that's just me. Jack of all trades then. Spend an army special result to allow the active model to switch their shoot, fight or survive stat for a test. A stat value of dash may not be swapped. So this makes up for it in a big way. Reason being, if you take something like a Rebel Grogan, you could use a splat to switch its shoot and its survive the way around. Reason being, its survive is 4 and its shoot is 5, so swapping them around gets you a better attack. On the same principle, you could, if you really want, have the Rebel Turret on with a shoot of 4 using the flamethrower or grenade launcher. Is there anyone else that can benefit like that? The Shock Trooper, surviving on 4s, shooting on 5s, fighting on 5s, works on the same way. You could also use it on this Sphere Lancer, surviving on 4s. Sorry, shooting on 4s, surviving on 5, swapping them around. You have a lot of flexibility with this. You've also got flexibility of how you want your leader to be with this. The thing is, with the Rebs leaders, they can help your force out in a number of ways, and they have good support splats. They also have good support abilities in the tacticians, but they are a one-trick pony. Sheo is close combat, the Reb Commander is shooting, the Infiltrator is scouting and a bit of close combat, and the Cell Leader, a bit of shooting and a bit of support option. Next we have the troops on page 104. Starting with the Rebel Sorak, 9 points, 1 victory point. Move 1-2, arm 0, size 1. Shoot and survive 5, fight of 6. Blaster, range 4, blast. Weapon options, small arms, light, brackets melee, automatic. I'd either keep it as it is or give him a rifle. Or a pistol if you want to keep it cheap. People say that that not a lot of people understand the strength of using blast. Yes, it doesn't damage, but you have the potential of pinning people and knocking off buildings. And at 9 points, shooting on 5s, that's not really bad. The only problem with it is it's only range 4, which means you probably will have to move. Next we have the Rebel Trooper. That's what I said. 7 points, 1 victory point. Move 1-2, armor 0, size 1. Shoot of 5, fight of 6, survive of 6. Rifle, range 6, rapid fire. Weapon options, small arms, light, brackets, melee. So you can give it a close combat weapon, either +1 frenzy or AP1. I would not do that because it makes it 12 points, and a 12-point model with a survive of 6 and the shoot of 5 and the fight of 6. You have got to be joking. The Rebel Troopers are there just to unlock the good stuff. They are basically the equivalent of the Plague paying their zombie tax, but only slightly more expensive because they can shoot stuff. Rebel Yindage, 12 points, 1 victory point. Move 1-2, armor 0, size 1. Shoot and fight of 5, survive of 6. Agile Scout. Rifle, range 6, rapid fire. Weapon options, small arms, light, brackets, melee. These aren't bad, they are slightly better than the Rebel Trooper. They've got Agile and Scout, which means if they want to go up buildings, that's great. Scout also means they can get where they want a lot quicker, get to those objectives or those items a lot sooner. I would not give them a close combat weapon, or indeed any weapon. I'd just keep them bog standard, because at 12 points you are getting close to being slightly too expensive. Next we have the Sphere Hunter. Lastly, Sphere Hunter, 13 points, 1 victory point. Move 1-2, armor 0, size 1. I thought it'd be armor 1, but hey ho. Shoot, fight and survive of 5. Harpoon gun, range 5, AP1, and combat blades, range F, frenzy 1, frenzy 1. Weapon options, small arms, light, brackets, assault, automatic. So you can give them grenade launchers and flamethrowers. Can you give them grenade launchers? I don't think you can give them grenade launchers. Grenade launcher, no you can't. You can give them flamethrowers if you want, which in some circumstances, why not, I suppose. Flamethrowers 4 points, which makes them 17 points. That might be a bit expensive. But they are shooting on 5s and surviving on 5s rather than 6s, and at least they've got not bad close combat weapon, and they've got AP1. Severe Hunters, they ain't bad. I think they're slightly too expensive. They're 1 point more than a Marauder. Main reason being they've got AP and Frenzy. Marauder's just got standard rifle. But a Marauder survives on 4s, which I thought would be a bigger thing to watch out for. But I don't know, that's just me. So next we have the Specialists on page 105. There's quite a few to get through, so let's begin. Grogan then, 13 points, 1 victory point. Move 1-2, arm 0, size 1. Shoot and fight of 5, survive 4, resilient 1. Rifle, range 6, rapid fire. A weapon option, small arms, heavy, brackets all. So you've got the Desolator, which is AP 2, or you've got the Onslaught Cannon, which has suppression and weight of fire 1. Either's good, that's essentially what they're for, though they are surviving on 4s and resilience 1, so that, and they are fighting on 5s, which makes them a bit better than Rebel Troopers. They're nearly double the points cost of a Rebel Trooper. So, I mean, a Onslaught Cannon is 3 points, which is dirt cheap. A Desolator is 8 points, which makes them 21. Desolator's giving you range 8 AP2, which range 8 and AP2, that's pretty serious going. And then AP2, you're even making Striders worry. So, and surviving on 4s with resilience 1 means you can take a few hits, I'd say. So, yeah, I reckon they're good. Craw Warriors, 10 points, 1 victory point. Move of 1-2, arm 0, size 1. Shoot of 6, fight of 4, survive of 6. Glide Scout has a wrist blaster, range 3, blast. Weapon options, small arms, light, brackets, assault, melee. You've got wrist blaster, you've got normal blaster, have you got normal blaster? Oh, you can't take a normal blaster, how weird. You can take a flamethrower though. Maybe take a flamethrower. Maybe either a combat blade, which is frenzy 1, or the ceremonial blade, which gives you AP 1. Can you comment below and tell me if Craws are any good for you? I personally can't see it, but that's because they've only got a wrist blaster, which is really short range, and they're not that quick, which, considering their survive is 6, it really should be faster. So next we have Alpha Simian Brawler, 26 points, 3 victory points. Move of 2-3, arm 1, size 3. No shoot value, but 5-4, survive 5. Agile, tough, frenzy 1, rampage. Has Spark Gauntlets, range F, AP2, knockback. Weapon options, light, brackets, melee. Leave it bog standard. All you've got, you're swapping out the weapon for either AP1 or Frenzy 1, which the Frenzy 1 adds on makes it Frenzy 2, but the AP1 weapon, you're downgrading from Frenzy 2 to Frenzy 1, so why would you bother? I would leave it as it is. They are quick, they've got tough, they've got armor 1, they size 3. The only downside is the rampage, which is going to hurt, but if you want to reach target high up, then they are pretty good at what they're doing. Yeah, the only real downside is the rampage. Next we have the Rubble Turret on, 30 points, 3 victory points. Move 1-2, armor 1, size 3. Shoot of 6, fight of 4, survive of 5. Tough and teleport. Ceremonial blades, range F, AP1. Grenade launcher, range 3, 1 use frag 3. Hand flamer, range 2, 1 use it burns. Weapon options, small arms, light, brackets, melee, assault. The only weapon I can see being useful is swapping out maybe the grenade launcher, because it's very short range, for a rifle maybe, or for a normal flamethrower, because at least you've got the hand flamer where they can use it, and then once it's gone, well, at least you've got the flamethrower that can be constantly used. The problem with the flamethrower is there's a chance that it could blow up on the model. So these are the two really big guys. You've got the Rebel Turret and the Alpha Simian Brawler. These two are the big guys, and there are a fair bit of comparisons to be made which one is better. They both have good points and bad points. The good points about the Alpha Simian Brawler is it's fast, it's got good AP, it's got frenzy, it's got agile. Rampage can also work in your favour if you roll an 8 when it's on rampage, so it makes it move 3-4, which is really, really good. The good thing about the Territon is it can shoot things. It's got 2 alright range weapons. And it can also teleport, which if you think there's a model behind a wall, well, if you've seen a model behind a wall, teleport through it and smash it brains in. The Alpha Simian Brawler is 4 points cheaper because it hasn't got a range weapon, it's got Rampage. But the range weapons of the Teraton are only 1 use and only range 3 each. And it shoots on 6s. So it just depends what you want. Do you want the classic Teraton or do you want the new guy? Choice is yours. Both are pretty good, I think. Next we have the Deadzone Medic. 10 points, 1 victory point. Move 1-2, arm 0, size 1. No shoot or fight value, but survive of 6. Medic and non-combatant, which is weird because it's got no shoot or fight stats, so that kind of cancel itself out because it's just saying the same thing twice essentially. Energy shield 3. You can't give it anything else, by the way. It's a really cheap medic. Yes, it's got no shoot or fight value, and it survives on 6s, but you get 3 rerolls with your energy shield. But just be careful because you can lose that energy shield. But being it's a medic, it gives everyone in the same cube resilience 1, and it can heal people to full as an action. Stick these near Rebel Grogans, gives them resilience 2, which is really good. They are really cheap medics, so don't overlook them. A lot of people do, but I like them. Rebel Specialists. 7 points, 1 victory point. The thing about these is these are the same as the Rebel Trooper, except they've got Hacker and the weapon options are different. So the weapon options, small arms, light, brackets, assault, automatic, explosive. You can take flamethrowers, you can take grenade launchers, you can take wrist blasters, you can take blasters if you want. The only options you really want to take are flamethrowers and grenade launchers. The other ones, you might as well just take a Sorak or a Craw, to be honest. They're not bad. The weakness is there's 5 non-6s, so you are going to have to be crafty on how you use them. So next we have the Survey Drone. 7 points, no victory points. Move 2-3, armor 0, size 1. No fight or shoot value, but surviving on 4s. Construct, Agile, Invade. And that's just it. These are more useful than you may think. Reason being is it survives on 4s, so it's a lot more survivable than a lot of Rebs stuff. It's pretty nippy, so you can place it on objectives pretty quickly. It's construct, which means it can't get pinned. Really nice. And the funny thing is it hasn't got beast, so it can pick up items and run off with them. That's really funny. They do take up a specialist slot, which is their main downside. But they are cheap. Teraton Shock Trooper. 20 points, 2 victory points. Move 1-2. Arm 1, size 2. Shoot and fight of 5, survive of 4. Teleport. Has an arc launcher, which is range 4, AP 1. And has a mace, which is range F, frenzy 1. Can't give any weapon options, so what it is what it is. I haven't actually seen these being used. It'd be interesting to see them being used because they, on the face of it, have better stats than normal Teraton. Shooting on 5s rather than 6s and surviving on 4s rather than 5s. Yes, its fight stats a bit worse, but you've got the frenzy to kind of make up for it. You can take one of these and a Deadzone Medic for the points cost of a Rebel Teraton, or take a Rebel Trooper or a Rebel Sorak, depends on what you want, and the Shock Trooper for the price of a Teraton, so you're kind of getting your specialist and your troop slot filled in one go rather than taking more points. They aren't as big, they haven't got tough, and they're fighting on 5s rather than 4s, which is their main downside. But they're not as many victory points, they're not as many points, and they've got a range weapon that stays, essentially. Next we have the Z Scavenger. 6 points, no victory points. Move 1-2, armor 0, size 1. Shoot and fight of 7, yep. Survive of 6. Scavenger, Hacker. Pistol, range 3. Weapon options, small arms. No one uses Z that I know of, but again it's one model I'd like to see a lot of. They are really small model wise, and that's their main advantage. They're so small your opponent's going to have to use either frag or indirect weapons to even get a bead on them, otherwise they ain't going to get shot whatsoever. Their stats are horrible, but because they've got Scavenger and Hacker, they are good on scenarios that you need items or you need terminals or even just taking objectives. Because they're so small, your opponent might not see them. Just don't go running a lot of them because they do take up specialist slots. Next we have the Rin Nomad. 17 points, 2 victory points. Mover 1-2, armor 1, size 1. Shooter 4, fighter 5, survivor 5. Twin pistols, range 3, rapid fire 1. Twin knives, range F, frenzy 1. Weapon options, small arms, light brackets, sniper, automatic, melee. These, I don't know what to make of them. I really don't know. They can take sniper rifles, they can take blasters, if you really want. They can take combat blades, but then again, there's also got frenzy 1. You can take a ceremonial blade if you want. Your main thing of them is they're good for shooting, but if you give them a sniper rifle, that does make them 29 points. Then again, their stats are slightly better than a rebel sniper, so they might be worth taking as snipers because their stats are better and they've got armour, whereas a rebel sniper doesn't. So that's what I'd take them as. Just take them as snipers or just don't bother. Rebel Sorak Swordspawn. 13 points, 1 victory point. Mover 1-2, armor 0, size 1. No shoot value, but fighter 5, survivor 5. Frenzy 1, and it's got combat blades, which then makes it frenzy 2. Melee options, light brackets, melee. 18 points to give it an AP 1 and ditch the combat blades? Maybe. Your problem is the stats are very average, so and you're taking up a specialist slot. So what you're going to do? Maybe leave them as they are. They are bad, but the stats are average. I think they should either be slightly more expensive with fighter 4 or make them a bit cheaper, because I honestly can't see much use for myself. Next we have the Sphere Lancer. 18 points, 2 victory points. Mover 1-2, no armour, size 1. Shooter 4, fighter 6, survivor 5. Magma Lance, range 5, AP 2. Weapon options, small arms, light brackets, assault, automatic. You can give them flamethrowers if you want. You can give them blasters, wrist blasters, just keep them as is. Or rifles if you really want. Sphere Lancers have got good shoot, they've got good AP. I really thought they'd have armour. Strangely enough, I don't see why they haven't honestly got armour. But oh well, they are what they are. They're not bad. I don't think they're not bad. Rebel Weapon Team. 11 points, 1 victory point. Move 1-2, armor 0, size 3. Shooter 5, fighter 6, survivor 6. Weapon Team. It's not rifle, range 6, rapid fire. Weapon options, heavy, brackets, crew serve, weapons. So you've got a choice of missile launcher, which is range 10 AP 4, or a mortar, which is range 8 indirect 4. They're both heavy. Or you could just leave them as these, 11 points, size 3 with the rifle. What you can do is put the two models on separate bases. It does say you should really put them on I think it's a 50mm base, but you can leave them, as long as they're really together, you can leave them on their separate bases. This means you can confuse your opponent in thinking, hang on, why are you not dead? I've caused 2 wounds to you, you should be dead. But if you're playing someone who knows how to play the game, this probably won't work. Weapon teams are really good. The range 10 AP4 of the missile launcher is not bad, but I'd always go for the mortar because mortars are really annoying. You can hide the weapons team in a corner and pop grenades out all over the place. It's just fun. That does make them expensive, but they do what they do really well. Next we have the Rebel Sniper. 16 points, 2 victory points. Move 1-2, armor 0, size 1. Shoot of 4, fight of 6, survive of 6. Sniper rifle, range 8, sniper scope. Weapon options, small arms, light, bracket, sniper, just leave them as is. So here's the thing, the Rebel Sniper is 13 points cheaper than a Rin Nomad with a sniper rifle. Here's the thing though, the Rin Nomad has average fight and survive stat and it's got armor 1. The Rebel Sniper, if it gets into close combat, is just going to be dead. So it depends really. Do you want a sniper that's cheap, or do you want a sniper that's maybe going to survive a bit longer? It's up to you how you want it to work. The last 4 specialists are living legends. These can't be given any items, they can't be taken multiples of. You can take one of each, but you can't take multiples, say Huns. You can only leave them as they are. Starting with Sergeant Eric Mercer. 27 points, 2 victory points. Move 1-2, arm 1, size 1. Shoot of 4, fight of 5, survive of 4. Resilience 1. Onslaught cannon, range 5, weight fire 1, suppression. Rocket salvo, range 8, indirect 3, 1 use. He's not bad, I like him a lot. He's fairly well pointed and 2 victory points, you can't go wrong with that. He's basically a Uber Grogan. Looking at the model, to be honest, I'll just, if I can, show him up here on camera. If you can see him there, he looks like he's got a minigun and a flamethrower attached to it. But if he had a flamethrower, that'd be really too powerful, I think. He's not bad. He's not bad. Next we have Hund, Rebel Bounty Hunter. 32 points, 3 victory points. Move 1-2, arm 1, size 1. Shoot of 4, fight of 5, survive of 4. Tactician 1, fire control. Sniper rifle, range 8, sniper scope, and twin pistols, range 3, weight of fire 1. I don't know why he's not 30 points, because that 32 points is a bit awkward points cost to me, but that's just me. He is worth his points cost in gold. He fights on 4s. The fire control is situational because you're going to have to get close enough to be able to use it. And the tactician 1, well, if your leader dies, at least you've still got the extra dice. So I don't think he's bad. I think he's slightly too expensive, but other than that, he's not bad. Next we have Edak Premier. 25 points, 3 victory points. Move 2-3, armor 0, size 1. Shoot of 4, fight of 5, survive of 5. Agile, tough, scout, tactician 1, stealthy. Crossbow, range 6, AP 1. He's not bad. The main thing you are getting him for is the fact he's got tactician, he's got stealthy, so can't get open shot on him. He's pretty fast, he's got tough. I think he's about right for his points cost and his victory point cost. His weapon is a bit short range. I would have thought it'd be a bit longer range, but it's got AP once and it shoots on 4s, so what do you want? Next we have Adeline Nodalewski. 28 points, 3 victory points. Move of 1-2, arm 1, size 1. Shoot of 4, fight of 5, survive of 4, tactician 1. Dual needle pistols, range 2, toxic. I would have thought it have weight of fire 1 because 2 pistols. Magma Lance, range 6, AP 2, hollow sight. Adeline Adrenaline, sorry, isn't bad. She fights on 4s. You've got the toxic pistol which is short range, but the toxic thing does help. The Magma Lance shooting on 4s with a hollow sight means, and it's range 6, so average range, means you are definitely going to worry Striders, I feel. Even getting close combat is fairly average when fighting on 5s, so it might survive a bit before dying. It's not bad. She's not bad, sorry. And if you build an all-sphere force, hey, you can do that. So finally, we have the vehicles. There's only one, and this is the Strider on page 110. So the Rebel Strider then, 30 points, 3 victory points. Mover 1-2, armor 3, size 4. All the stats, fight, shoot and survive are 5. Solid beast construct. Weapon options, hard points 2, walker, brackets all, sport, brackets walker. So you've got a lot of options. Your best options in, I think, are either the heavy burst laser, which gives you weight fire 2 and suppression, and range 10. That's pretty good. You've got the Polaris cannon, which is AP 4, good if you want to burn other Striders. The chainsaw, which is AP 2 frenzy 1, not a bad option either. The Gravram spear gives you AP 2 close combat and range, and you've got frag 3 at range. That's pretty good considering you're shooting on 5s, which is average. And the aggressor shield gives you +1 armor. Your problem is trying to fit all these in. You could take a chainsaw and aggressor shield if you want. You could take a Gravram spear and an aggressor shield if you want. You could take as an assault flamer, well, 2 assault flamers just in case one dies on you. But then again, would both die on you if you had 2? Not sure. You could take an assault flamer and a aggressor shield if you want, or a assault flamer and a Gravram spear, or a chainsaw and a Gravram spear. But yeah, heavy burst laser, Polaris cannon, or Gravram spear, my choice for range for weapons for the Strider. To be honest, I always like Striders. Striders are always good. So lastly, we have the weapons and items. Pistol, 1 point, range 3. Doesn't take up a weapon slot, so you can have a range weapon, you can have your pistol, and you can have close combat weapon. Long rifle, 3 points, range 8. Rifle, 2 points, range 6, rapid fire. Flamethrower, 4 points, range 2, volatile, it burns. Wrist blaster, 2 points, range 3, blast. Blaster, 3 points, range 4, blast. Grenade launcher, 8 points, 1 victory point, range 5, indirect 3. Ceremonial blades, 5 points, 1 victory point, range F, AP 1. Combat blades, 5 points, range F, frenzy 1. Sniper rifle, 12 points, 1 victory point, range 8, sniper scope. Onslaught cannon, 3 points, range 5, weight fire 1 and suppression. Missile launcher, 8 points, 1 victory point, range 10, AP 4, heavy. Mortar, 12 points, 2 victory points, range 8, indirect 4, heavy. Desolator, 8 points, 1 victory point, range 8, AP 2. Assault Flamer, 6 points, range 2, AP 1, volatile, it burns. Heavy burst laser, 8 points, 1 victory point, range 10, suppression and weight fire 2. Gravram spear, 12 points, 1 victory point, range F, AP 2 and range 4, AP 2, frag 3. Polaris cannon, 10 points, 1 victory point, range 10, AP 4. Chainsaw, 8 points, 1 victory point, range F, AP 2, frenzy 1. Shoulder rocket, aggressor shield, sorry, 8 points, 1 victory point, and walk shield, which just gives Striders +1 armor. Shoulder rockets, which does not take up a hard point, 6 points, range 3, 1 use frag grenade. Smoke launchers, which does not take up a hard point, 3 points, range 3, 1 use smoke grenade. And the items, ammo at 2 points, AP ammo at 4 points, defender shield at 5. I don't think it takes defender shields now. Engine shield 3 at 12 points, frag grenade at 6, hollow sight at 8, med pack at 4, mono wheel scout bag at 5, smoke grenades at 3, and stun grenades at 4. The thing about the Rebs is each model has a specific role. Speaking on the troops, the Sorak is there to maybe suppress people, the trooper there is to be cheap, the Yindage is there to scout people and maybe to get stuck in, maybe shoot people or get into close combat, because they're not bad. They're not terribly good, but they're not bad, I suppose. The Sphere Hunter is there to maybe burst some armour and maybe get a bit close combat. You've got the Grogans, which are good suppression options. You've got the Simian Brawler and the Deadzone, which are really good close combat options. You've got the Teraton Shock Trooper, which is there to be a miniature version of the Teraton, bit of close combat, bit of range. You've got the Jod-1 Medic, which is a medic, and that's it. You've got the Specialist, which good for range weapon, no tells. Scavenger and the Survey Drone, good for items and objectives. Rin Hunter, Sniper. Sorak for close combat. Sphere Lancer, again shooting. Weapon teams, shooting. The Sniper, shooting. And all of the living legends apart from Chavo, shooting. It's a mix of close combat and shooting with a little bit of support from the leaders and the Survey Drone, the Scavenger thrown in. Each person plays their part. Yes, all the people in all the other factions have their parts to play, but some of them can do other stuff as well. For instance, the Forge Father Storm Raid Veteran is average in close combat and is good everywhere else, which means if you get him in close combat, you might survive a fair bit more than everyone else because he's got armour on as well. So that's the thing for the Rebs. They are cheaper than most of the people, but that's because their stats aren't as good as other people's, especially in the survive area. They aren't that great in survive, unless you take the really, really good stuff like the Teratons, like the Simian Brawlers, like the Grogans and the Rins, that sort of thing. Another good thing thematically about the force is you can specialise your force how you want it. You can take an army just of Yindage if you want. You can take an army just of Spheres if you want. You really can. You can take an army almost completely of Sorax if you want. You know, mix Swords and Crows if you want, with maybe, say, some specialists are Crows. You know, if you really want. Just go for a whole human force if you want. Go for an whole alien force if you want. Go for a Dr. Sayers force if you want, with a mix of Simian Brawlers and Yindage. Choice is up to you how you do it, but it's just about really knowing your force. I don't think, honestly, the Rebs are good for a starting player. They're a good force, but you really have to have played quite a few games to know what works here, what works there, what doesn't work here, what doesn't work there. So that's it for the Rebs. Goodbye for now.